send the get information for you. You contact me. Because I know how to transfer.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, but I will figure it out. I can ask my manager, and I can ask Angie, I can ask Laura.
I'll call you.
Yeah, we'll get that all straight. That's great. Thank you. Are you leaving or are you staying too?
Huh?
You're leaving? Or are you staying? Okay.
Oh, Capuzzi.
Let's go.
Come hither, children. Other side, let's go. Guys, let's go. Come on. You're 11v11. Get out of here. Let's go. Careful, Sammy.
Yeah, Mark, you were on it.
I was trying to do my part, but I know how it is.
All right, listen up. Kenti's going to speak, guys, about warm-ups and movement really quick. Ish.
Okay, some of you guys just heard this, but just to give you like a little like blurb of like why I care so much about all this stuff. I went to like in college, I did exercise science and sports medicine, and then afterwards I worked at an orthopedic specialty hospital in their sports performance and their biomechanics lab. And all we did there was like sports performance, so learning running mechanics, movement mechanics, speed, agility, and then on the biomechanics side, like research based with ACL prevention, re-tears, working with the orthopedic surgeons and the PTs through that, and with stability with ankles and all that. So I was there for like 7 to 8 years, and then I just do, like, that's what I do now for my own self, like company, whatever. So it's in my life, and I love it, and I feel like there's this big, like, the warm-up is something so simple, and it's like the warm-up, but it can like teach kids just a lot of like how my body is supposed to move and how I'm preparing for a 90-minute game. That's like a lot of stress on the body. And I think there's just like a lack of maybe just like education that's like been passed down, and so I want to be the education piece on like things that are important from like my experience and where I've like been from. So I'll start. Do you want me to do it, Michael? Like, do you want me to show, or
It's up to you.
You guys,
Can you show some
Yeah,
of like the...
Why don't you take 4 of the guys and have them do a warm?
No, like your single leg, like jumps,
Stuff like that.
any, just go over like your direction things, and any stretches that like are kind of like the go-to rule of thumb ones.
Okay. So in general, like how I flow my like warm-ups, and you could really do these in any type of like structure kind of, but I do like in every direction, so like directional. So we're like jogging, we're backpedaling, we're side shuffling, we're doing like diagonal movements just like to get started. And then I move into more like agility-based, stability-based stuff. So we'll do simple ones is like, can I do single leg zigzag hops for 10, and then I'm jogging back and then I'm doing it again. So it's muscle activation through my adductors and my abductors to help stabilize the knee, and then it's stability and push off through like my single leg for stability stuff, okay? And then from there we do, and then through like movement and like the agility piece, it's just like honing in the mechanics of what we're supposed to be doing. Like this just very like the patty cake 90s, like why don't we get our athletes to like move their arms like they're going to be moving their arms through like all of the movements? Like, and I know this is like a big thing with like side shuffle, but why don't I like get low like I'm gonna use it like in a game? Because that's what we're warming up for. So just using movements like we're gonna use them in a game. And then I do muscle activation for like fast twitch muscles. And I think most of us use sprints as like a part of a warm up. But in my experience, like as a player and as like a coach, it's like I'm sprinting like 70%. So I'm getting 70% of my fast twitch muscles, and I'm expecting my players to go out and do 100. So can I get them and their muscles to be at 100? So things I utilize are like plyos, which are just like either double, you're doing it as fast as you can, or single as fast as you can, pushing off the floor for 5 seconds. Like make it for 5 seconds as fast as you can, and then we're sprinting through. So I get those muscles to like actually wake up before their first 100 sprint, like 100% sprint is when they're playing a game. And then, so as a part of it, usually I will mix, so I'll do like a plyo like I just did, and then I'll add in like a 10-yard sprint, and then on the way back, we're dynamic stretching. So I go through the big major muscles, quads, right? And then stretching in hamstrings, kicks, or swoops work. Then I have adductors, which is a huge one for stability. So things like, I call them yoga sits, or just figure 4 pulls. And then you can add, and then some kids like want other things like hip flexors with like lunges, stuff like that as well. And then that's kind of just how I structure my warm-ups. When, like, you know that your athletes are warm, your body gives you a cue, it's when you start to sweat. And I think there's this misconception, like when I was an athlete, like, I can't sweat or like breathe hard because I'm like, I have a game to play, I don't want to get tired, but you're like, your body's got to be warm to perform. So that like sweating cue is like an awesome, it's an easy one. Your athletes are sweating, perfect. We hit where we want to go, we're trying to maintain. From there is kind of like the goal of the warm-up. I think there's another piece I was going to say.
What not to do.
Oh, yes, thank you. So a big, like, even when I was playing college, we still like sat in the circle and did static stretching before. And you just have to think we're warming up for the demands of the game, and never in a game are we sitting and asking our muscles to stay. So that's why it's always dynamic. I'm always like stretching and then coming back, because that's the type of movement my muscles are going to be doing. That's the demands of the game. Static stuff is for 2 things. After, when I'm going to be sitting at home or walking, right? Or if you're injured, it's light stretching for long duration. So you're stretching for like lightly for like a minute. That's the only time static stretching should be ever used, especially when I'm in a game. And I think that's like the big bulk of it. So just like to recap it all. Your athletes are warm when they're starting to sweat or they're breathing hard. That's like your body's cue that you know that. So that's a great thing to do. Second, so I add variation of direction of movement like they're going to be used in game. I use stability stuff too. So like I gave an example like zigzag single leg stuff to help like stability and power and push and muscle activation. Then I'm asking the muscles to go as fast as they can, just like they're going to use in a game. So things like plyos, going as fast as you can, or if you can do smaller sprints and asking them to go 100%, things like that will work. And then dynamic stretching, always for the win. Does that make sense?
Question.
Yeah, totally ask.
So when we can add the mini bands in this activation, the beginner, or how I can?
That's a good question. I usually, so when I do like when I've gone to like pro teams and I always have them use bands, we will do like jogging, backpedaling, side shuffle, like diagonal stuff, high knees, butt kickers, using good mechanics. And then we'll do the stability stuff, and then after the stability stuff, then I'll do like band work where we're doing like fast twitch stuff, but then the activation, and then I'll take it off and then do all of the fast twitch stuff. So muscle activation first, like get the muscles to like say hello, and then ask them to perform fast. That's how I usually flow with bands. Yeah.
So, my sister-in-law is like a professional runner. When I went to run a half marathon with her, she ran a mile before. That was her warm-up before she ran the.
Right.
So in soccer, translating that in soccer about how long should be the warm-up, how hard should we push things?
I I mean, like I said, until the point of like sweating, I think is a good.
That's your cue, right?
Yeah, that's kind of like the cue where there's starting to
But
sweat and
you
heavy
wanna be
breathing.
sweating for 15 minutes, like they're gonna start sweating, and then they're sweating, they're ready for the game. How soon do you want to start seeing that cue?
I would say at the end. So my warm-ups, I would probably say take if I'm doing like a full like a 10-minute warm-up, and then after that, my goal is to just maintain. So I'm trying to, if I'm seeing them like, because you can start to see players that like sit when you're like warm, the natural. I feel like you're just like up more, like because your heart rate's up, like that's like a kind of a natural thing. So if you see them, but once they're like up and sweating, like your goal is to like keep that like when you're like running a mile, that like.
So you would
sweat.
say your running warm up is 10 minutes.
Yes. Like
And then
my running,
after that, you're adding in the soccer.
Yeah, then you can add
No,
the
no,
ball.
yeah,
So yeah,
definitely.
running off the ball, I do like a 10-minute, get your heart rate here, and then can we be on the ball and do whatever you guys do, but trying with the goal to keep it. Or maybe I repeat, then I do on the ball, okay, we sit in lines for a second, I'm doing a 3v2 thing, whatever, so then do faster.
Should we have, and this is a question that I have not been able to answer, and everybody's doing it. Some things right, some things wrong, even professionals, because the things that yours mentioned, I've seen professionals do it, right? Like, oh, what are they doing? So, the question is, I have my starting 11, and you're saying that the sweating, because my bench is gonna sit probably for 30, 40 minutes.
Right.
Do I want them to do the same thing?
Yes.
Do I have a different warm-up for them? So all of these things will probably enhance the way in how we do warm-ups. And to use professional help, such as yourself or somebody else, I think is very helpful. One thing that would be helpful for me is like, if you put together, because you mentioned these names, which means nothing to me, because I have no idea, like the squats and stuff, I gotta see it, I think a beneficial for the club, Michael, will be like, hey, you know what, do this, and all of us run a standard warm-up, according to the age that we were coaching.
Right.
I think that will be very helpful, because this information is it's so nice to hear it, but it will be lost.
Right, yeah, if you don't see it,
Yeah.
then totally. And going along,
Hey, we ready? Yeah.
Hey, Ken, quick question. Do you change or alternate anything according to age groups? Like, you get the 16s out here, you do differently with the 05s or 06s, or you just tone it down and do all the same?
usually once it hits like, some 13-year-olds like their bodies act like they're like 9-year-olds. So hitting like high school age, usually from there it's like the same. If I have things like bands and stuff like that are useful, then from 15 and then like above, I'll really utilize bands. It's not harmful to use bands when you're younger, but it's just more like a time efficiency thing with age. But my warm-ups will change for youngers, just like doing sometimes like single leg stuff for them. It ends up just being like this.
Yeah.
So we'll do double leg stuff and work on like, don't let your knees touch. That's like my biggest focus on stuff like that. I think once kids can do stuff, that actually is a huge cue. Once kids can do stuff consistently without letting their knees touch, then I'll move to single leg. Because there's girls even out here just like this all the time. I'm like, oh my god. So I think like a mechanic base, but I'll like tweak things for age. But yeah. But going along with your point with like halftime too. Like we're playing another 45, we like sit and talk to them, and then it's like, right, like can we like maybe just take like the last half of our warm up and do our fast switch stuff again to get the muscles awake, or like our subs coming in, take the last half, like do directional stuff. And I just think like all I'm here to do is just like educate what like I know to like help you guys like have your athletes be able to perform better, because it's a performance thing. I can't perform if I'm not
It's
warm.
really good info, because what I am hearing is this, or for me, it's like next time I see a player going on on the field, if it is not an emergency, like I will plan, okay, 10 minutes you're going in and start warming up. When I see him sweating, now you're ready. Now you are at the level of everybody inside, and then you get going.
Right.
So that's the kind of information that we need to take and put it into practice.
Yeah.
I do think a video would be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly.
Not to throw you out there to do it, but
No, I
Because
have
the retention
one.
for me would be nice to do it.
Yeah, it's like, man, I'll use it because I know crap about. I mean, I know a little bit for what you see on YouTube and stuff. But, yeah, I'll really take advantage of it.
Okay, I can do that for sure. It's not big deal.
You talking about dynamic stretching. I don't know if it happens to you, but I hate that. You know, when I do my warm up, I add in, you know, dynamic stretching, and okay, we then, you know, go to rondos. I'm ready to go, and a player comes to me and says, "Hey, coach, can I wait? Can someone else can go? I need 5 minutes to stretch." And they started stretching. I don't know if that's, you know.
Oh, that's
you know,
what you said. I thought you hated
And-
dynamic stretching.
I know. I don't know.
That's why when the player comes to stretch.
It's kind of, you know, all the information what I get, it's, you know, for me, this is why I'm choose to start coaching in this country. You know, one, because my cousin introduced me to the club, and then I'm gonna start with my coaching education because for me it's completely different. You know, I played 23 years ago when I played professional for my national team, and it was completely different. We have stretching for probably 20 minutes, stretching. Then we start, you know, with dynamic stretching, and then it's like get our heart rate. It's completely different.
Right.
And this is why what Jose said, you know, it's great to know from an expert how is the right way to warm up. But that happened to me a lot with my players. They are not ready. You know, they need to stretch, and they think because, you know, they have to stay there and do kind of things like that. What you say, that is never that.
Yeah. So and you can tell them like if it's like like they can, if they're like used to it, then just tell them to like squat and then stretch and then squat and then stretch. Like they can do things like that, but it's just like
You don't have to, Jose.
yeah, like just they can stretch. They don't have to.
This is why Jose won the video. Is that's how you want to do it, guys. Jose, this is why you want the video, okay, guys? Like this.
Right on TikTok, baby.
Dennis, can you have him make a video? Can you be your,
You can be my guinea
Well,
pig.
I'm a great model for not what to. Don't laugh because you know it's true. Dude, I know it. No, but not now. I gotta lose weight. You too, Kaufusi.
Yeah, we more than you, for sure.
Does anybody have any more questions or anything?
I just want to, there's I'm older than Mario, and sometimes the warm-up I do with my players, they look at me weird, because I used to warm up like that 40 years ago. And then, I've never done this before, because I do it my own way. Because I really hate that, I don't know, 70% of the teams all around do the same warm-up, where the kids don't even do it. They're talking the whole time, and they're like, seriously.
You're a model.
That's what I see, and I'm watching, and I'm like, really? I don't know.
Yeah.
I might be guilty of that, but 70% of the teams I see around, they do that.
Right.
I run my own warm-ups, and I, as a coach, make sure that my players are ready for the game.
Right.
So that's the case, or it's okay to say warm-up, but I'm not that. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what they do. And a big don't. Do our warm-up, and they have them sit down for 15 minutes for a pre-game talk.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then they call and big don't.
Well,
Big don't.
I think you do it right. When I think about these new methods and stuff, it's like it probably is not gonna define if you're gonna win or lose the game, you know. But if your team will perform better. Like, that's the way I see it. It's like you can just be that much better if you do it the right way.
Right.
So your team is already here. If you do the proper warm up, they will be up here.
And the injury prevention.
And the injury, for girls
Injury,
too.
yeah.
Injury prevention is crazy, and even like just like a lifestyle, like we are their like window into like athletics and just like exercise, like for their life, like seriously. And so if we educate them correctly on like this is like how you have to treat your body to be able to perform, then you don't get like, then you're not like older and you're like, I can just, do stuff, and then you like, really get hurt, It's like, I think for me, it's like an individual athlete education as well. Like it just goes like a long way both ways. So, Anyway, if you guys have any questions or like want ideas for things like to warm up and whatever, I have them. Like my brain is full. That's like what I do. So.
All right, who wants to be the first group? Guinea pigs, or I'll choose. Yeah, we'll go. Let's go. Aha, Kafusi, well done. Just tell us what you need. You got cones, bibs. Let's use the size 4s just because they're out, and then coaches, let's step in.
I'll play.
Just grab two orange bibs. There's a net there. Watch out.
The girls look more in shape than the guys do.
All right, tell us your topics, and then what you need.
So we'll need
Guys.
These guys are gonna kill it.
Yeah, we'll just need to start.
I need 2 defenders.
Yeah, so 6 players total.
Get a 4 and a 5. 2 defenders.
We're not gonna make it run. We're just a walkthrough. So thank you, Gary, and we'll get the Jose. Celso,
Mr. Flexibility.
Let's go, Celso. Need you a center back, Celso. Jose's. Let's go, Mario. Let's go, Mario.
Come on.
Yeah, it echoes bad, so you kind of have to like.
Just hold him. You're fine.
To drop to our level to explain us.
Goodness, I want to feel this. Somebody can take this.
Rip it like
Okay, so
Is it a small?
We're going to go deep.
No.
yeah, we're gonna go deeper. We'll go deeper. Center back's right here at the half.
Medium.
The guy with the. There you go, Jose. Celso, come take Jose's bib because Jose's play forward. You're center back. Let's go, Celso. Celso, let's go, man. Everyone wants to see you out here. And then we'll need. Let's go, Bailey. Come on.
Shirts?
What'd you say?
Am I in shirts?
Yeah, no penny.
Yes. Your shirts,
That's
Bailey.
what I call non-pennies.
I was like, what?
Title 9. Title 9.
Okay, so hey, we're focusing on our moment is attacking, and phase of play is disorganizing in the attack. We're focusing on the ball as the highest forward option. We're not going to have any pressure. This is an intensive drill, so it's really focused just on this. It's a diamond, so you're not including more than 4 attacking and between 2 to 4 defensively on what you're working on. So, Jose, come be my 9, please.
Ooh.
And what we're focusing on is how to, in the moment here, you can add things, put in the 2, the 3, and the 6, but it's trying to get the, how to get the center backs disorganized up there. So, let's get over here, wide mark. Right here, 7. Let's go wide Mario, right there's 11. So the idea is, come over here, Gary, just to the right, so obviously just like right, so it's our 9. So the focus right now is how do we get through here. One option, we'll have Jose come over here to Gary, right? So come over here to Gary as a 9, and bounce off the 9. As you're coming this way, gets him disorganized and so the way to Celso. You're going to call for the ball, you're going to play the ball. You're going to move over here, you're going to bounce the ball, Mark goes wide, we play it through, and now we're in the goal. Okay, so here's the coaching points. Tim, you want to the coaching points? Go.
Yeah, it's the off the ball movement.
Yeah.
To create the disorganization. Your key, Jose, to make sure you're lateral and you can create that so that we can play highest point back through and then to the highest point wide to get in behind. Does that make sense? But off the ball movement is key here.
Okay. So there's a couple of things real quick that, because part of the assignment was to focus on what we talked about in our last training session, or in our last group coaching training. And a lot that I took away from that last coaching group was information, right? There's different communication and then like informational communication. Okay, so instead of saying here, right? So, Jose, in this moment, what can we do with Bailey that you can have informational communication on where you want the ball, when to play the ball? What can you do?
What are the ways you can communicate?
What
How can you communicate to Bailey?
Well, I move here. and when I do this, just by the movement, right?
Right.
If I do this here, she will know
She'll know to play.
I'm going to that way, right?
Which is
And
what
if
kind
you
of-
want to go this way, that's fine. So,
What kind of communication is that? Just that movement though?
yeah.
And that's your nonverbal
body
communication.
movement.
No,
Right?
but you're non-verbal, right?
Right. And it all depends because see, when I go here, I don't know. It's a lot of communication that is not like different players have different
Right,
ways.
yeah,
Right? If I don't want the ball, I won't even look at her.
Right.
I'm just doing this. Now I want the ball
Now you want the ball.
Right.
Right.
because I look at her. Okay.
Right.
But if I come here, if I'm looking, I want the ball now. So it all depends, and every player has different ways to communicate.
So that's a great example, but it's a non-verbal communication because he bounced off and he gave that eye contact, right? Anybody else want to give something else that Jose can do in his communication that'll tell Bailey where he wants the ball? Yes,
I
hit
feel
it.
like I use my voice a lot, like
Yeah.
in space or in front or wherever, like where I want the ball and where I'm going to be going.
Right.
Which I mean, you could say like you're giving the defender like an advantage.
Yeah, so how can we get around that?
Be fast. I
No,
don't know.
but come on, guys, how can we be better than that? So if all of a sudden Jose,
Because
you bounce off Gary, and you're coming across, and obviously Celso, and now you get in his face, what's Celso gonna do? Because he hears it in his. So two things, what could Jose do in the moment, right? That Bailey will know where to play in the ball and how to play in the ball. Get it, now we go.
He can point.
Good point, right? Okay,
Yeah, you can sign points.
love it. So
Right.
here's so one big thing that I like personally is I feel like I'm trying to part of the disorganization. I bounced off him and I tell my nines, the ref ain't watching here, so I tell my nines to really bump into it. Really get him off their rocker, right? Not like foul it, but bump. Now if I'm coming here, he's gonna start coming in. If I want the ball here, I'm gonna go here. So my hip, I'm showing here, right? Or if I do want it there, right? Then I'm pointing here and playing where you can go, right? But overall, it's in where you want, it's all in the communication here. I want the ball here, or I want the ball here, right? So that's a way to disorganize our center backs, is to use a lot of physicality. I don't know about
I think
people that have been coaching at like the older levels. For some reason, yes, go, sorry.
Well, yeah, that's something you practice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that just cannot just happen.
Absolutely. Which is
You gotta
this
know,
transition.
like,
Yes.
in order for Jose to create space, he's got to run away from the defender.
Yeah.
You bump him away, and then he's giving that sign, that's verbal to the six. He goes
Yeah.
away. He's not going to go right into Celso because he's going back into the same with the same defender. He's
Hold
going
on,
back
you're saying he would come into Celso?
not into Celso.
So here's where here's kind of where I'll disagree a little bit. Because, and actually it's a 50-50, because yeah, if you're just bounce here, now you have the space here, right? But if I'm trying to keep the highest point of play, I bounced off him, I'm going, personally, and this is a personal preference, I like my nines to put that center back right here, and if you play me the ball, Bailey, play to me, how often do you see this? And it's a bad trap, and now we just dropped 5 yards. So trying, in this moment, to keep the ball at the highest point possible. So I'm here, she plays me, she's gonna hip out and keep the ball here. Now we're at the highest point possible. Instead of, like I said, if I come here and get the ball.
Once you're in the highest point, you're gonna have to play back. You didn't let me finish.
Oh, my bad.
What I was trying to say, this is something you practice. The 6 to the 9, the 9 back to the 6 to the 7 to get it to the highest point.
Yeah, that's what
You
we
just
just,
want to bump off.
that's what we just did.
So let's play this out.
Well,
Yeah.
And one other thing,
That's what
off
they
the
did
ball
at the
movement,
Yeah, that's what we do.
what are the 7-11 white players' cues on where to make their run as well? Because a lot of times when we do this, these guys just get stuck standing, right? Okay, yeah, and there's the pattern, there we go. But let's play and we'll walk through that.
Go Jose, show us how it's done. She's playing.
Well defended, Orange. Create a good coaching point for us, please. Come on.
That brings up a point though. Hey, if we're gonna play, the ball probably needs to come back to you so you can walk through, right, Bailey?
If you do have
So I would have the 10 at that point call here, yeah, play me back, and then play through and then we have numbers.
So, for this session,
Yes.
what are you teaching me? Are you teaching me to try to beat this line with one touch, or even playing back? What's the
Love it. Love
the
it.
coaching point?
So if I real quick, what are you learning right now? 'Cause I have specific points.
So
What are you learning right now?
I'm trying to discover what you want me as a coach, because if you want me to beat the line, then you know this position. As I come here, at the moment of bumping him, that's where I want the
Then
ball
you go.
right here.
Absolutely.
So
Right?
hold on.
If you're trying to,
Hey, forget about that.
okay,
What did he teach you?
to bump him and create a space between.
Okay, so as a player, forget about your coaching knowledge.
Okay,
What are you learning right now? What did you just learn to do?
I learned to, in order to create a space, you move, you can bump into this guy to disbalance him and move, you know, just keep moving in the direction that.
And then what do you do?
And then I make communication, face, catch, whatever I use to have the ball and then play from there.
Okay, so when and why?
When?
When and why?
When? After I created the space.
Not your coaching head from these guys. When and why? Do you do those things?
When I see the number 10 having the ball, or whoever, right?
Hold on.
Eight.
Did they teach that, or are you coming up with that?
Oh, no, they haven't said it.
Okay, so let's stop
But
right here.
I'm
Because I
assuming
think
you're
this, don't assume. Let's not assume, because all of us have a lot of knowledge up here, right? And we talked about 20 different scenarios right
Yeah,
here,
dude.
yes or no?
Absolutely.
Okay, so for me, I can see Jose is confused. Why?
I think they did start saying.
Yeah.
to
Hold
check
on,
back
hold
to
on.
6.
Why is,
I
Jose,
do.
why are you confused?
Because in the beginning, you had me play with Bailey and then go there, you know, and then go up. And after that, we were talking about you come over here if I want to, you know, go up. So
But then
that's what I asked.
what were you trying to do in your head after?
I was trying to beat the line.
Okay, so freeze right there. In a matter of, we've been here for 10 minutes, Jose has 5 different ideas in his head. Let's go back. What is your on the ball principle? Who has it in your group?
Oh, yeah. So on the ball right
What's
now.
the on the ball principle?
But I think part of that
On
is
the ball,
because
we're working on the diamond and the highest point.
Okay, highest point.
Yeah.
What else? Is there pressure? No pressure.
There's no pressure.
Okay, so on the ball, we need to tell Jose that this happens when there is no pressure on the ball. So now Jose knows to move, whether Bailey's there or here or there, when she is a 10 and has no pressure. Now Jose knows what? What do you know?
I know that I will have.
These
to
guys
create-
want you to.
Yeah, they want me to create the space to beat the
Perfect,
line.
freeze right there. Okay, let's talk, what is your off the ball principle on the sheet?
Let me look at the shooting.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
Does he have pressure or no
Off the
pressure?
ball pressure, highest point forward, movement, no pressure, the side of the diamond.
Okay, so we're trying to find this out.
Yeah, which
So-
is what it leads. Sorry.
What's
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
You do that movement when there is what?
No pressure.
There's no pressure.
Okay, there's no pressure on the ball. Then what is he trying to create for us?
What is so they trying to create for us?
Yes, off the ball, what is he trying to create?
Strike good space
For who?
for hair.
Him,
Sure, he has space.
into the
Yeah,
wide.
but I
Into the wide.
but that to me is like if she has no pressure and has the space, I would prefer her to come
Okay, so hear me out. We've asked you to do what?
to create the space.
But you're telling me,
That she already has the space.
but then what are you doing with your movement?
Creating more space to her to go through. I guess.
Are you sure?
Well, no, because the instruction was create a space so that the ball can play to you.
Okay, which is fine.
Just
But see how we've come up with all these different scenarios, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make this simple. Bailey has No pressure. So anytime, forget Bailey's name is Bailey. Our 10 has no pressure on the ball. What do we want Jose to do? Tell me, what do you guys want Jose to do?
Well, so to disorganize the 4 and the 5,
Okay, how?
which is what I thought
Okay.
was
No, that's fine.
right.
What does disorganization look like? There's 3, maybe 4 types of disorganization. Gap. Okay, so a player out of position. That's disorganization.
Yeah.
Flat. Yep, flat line.
Flat line here,
Okay, what else? Too
too
high,
high, yeah,
and then too low. Too low.
too low, the gap's gonna be there.
Yes. Okay, so which do you want Jose to try and create? Doesn't matter, just pick one.
No. I totally get that. But I'm just pushing back because it was my disorganization is to bump into the 5.
Which is fine.
Right, and so,
What-
and that to
what are
me-
you wanting that to create? Which of those 4 do you want it to create?
Well, it'll create
So
a
what
gap.
you're gonna-
It'll create a gap
create a
between the
gap.
4 and the 5.
Okay. Where? Here?
So that would be
You
out
can
of
hear it,
position.
Jose?
Your bump would bump him out of position.
Yeah, your bump. So you
Okay,
can now. So now he's
Jose's
hitting
bump.
right
So
there
now
on
if
that
I'm
side.
Jose,
Yeah.
my job is to create,
Yeah.
track Gary to force him where? Here, there,
Yeah,
there,
here.
there.
I mean, like here, right? Because then it's
Okay,
gonna create
so I want to push
to come
Gary
across
here.
this way.
So now I've created a player out of,
Position.
okay. What does that say now?
Well, then to get to the next phase where you wanna get it wide,
Hold on. Forget about why.
Yeah.
What did I just create?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is where Jose is saying we should probably play me because now I'm in a space to go to goal.
And to go up to Lucy's point, you did just disorganize the 4 and the 5.
100%.
We are disorganized.
You guys are thinking, okay, what if Gary came with me?
yes,
Boom.
that's exactly.
Now I've disorganized, and now I can't play forward to the highest point. Now I play
Wait, that wide.
the
The
side.
Then you're gonna have
And
to
it
play
could be
back.
opposite. Maybe I bump Gary and Gary just stays,
Right.
and now I pull Celso. And now
But to your point, like you said, like I can see where it gets confusing for our players.
correct.
Yeah.
So if I'm Jose,
Yeah.
I want to know. You guys talked about, is it this? Is it this? And I look at like super specific. She has space. I'm trying to do what? Spell it out to me again. In this session,
Yeah, you're trying to disorganize the 4 and the 5.
trying more specific. You want me to do what to Gary? Get Gary wide.
Yeah, get Gary wide.
So can I get Gary here to find this space?
Yes.
Thoughts on that, guys? How much more specific and clear is that for Jose versus our first? Because it was all of us. It wasn't these two. It was all of us creating that confusion.
How real is that gonna be in a real game that you're gonna bump the defender off?
You tell me.
I think it depends on who you're playing, honestly. But I think more than likely, if you drag, he's coming with you, or self-subscriber, and creating something.
Okay, so tell me the picture you want to paint.
So I think the picture that we got was bump Gary, right? Celso.
Which obviously Gary's not gonna go flying out like 5 yards, right? I mean,
Okay.
Here.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to then attract both
Yes.
center backs to open up the white space.
Yes.
Okay, so how can we tell that to Jose? I think the first thing is right.
Yeah.
Attract
yeah.
a center back. Now again, Gary's not going to go flying. But how can I attract Gary and Celso now? Say that again.
Yelling.
Yeah. Ball.
And now Celso will close in.
Maybe Celso
Absolutely.
bites.
Yeah.
Maybe Gary bites. Maybe.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen every time. The other thing I could do to Gary is what? Oh, freaking grab him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come with me.
Yeah.
You're talking about posting up, like make this look
Yeah.
like Bailey's gonna play me. So you have a big striker.
Yeah.
Make it freaking like I'm Lukaku. Lukaku always attracts
Yeah.
two center backs. Now Mark has space to
Yeah.
go, and that's the picture you guys are originally.
That's what we're going for. Yeah.
Wanting
Just
to
needed to be more clear. Absolutely.
First, Jose's going, but if I bump him, I've got.
All the space here. I'll just go to goal.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
we're just creating a little bit of confusion.
Right.
and-
Absolutely.
I think an explanation too, that now you've got to be very specific and say, your goal is to get them disorganized, attract both of them.
Perfect. Okay, so pause.
Here's how we do that.
Question?
Mike,
Hold on, just a sec.
Yeah, I thought originally they were all trying to pull them high to create this space for him to get.
That was my question too, what Nat just said, cause
Which is
originally we
what-
had just the 9 check back here, right?
Cause that, if he yells and he pulls from high, then it goes out.
Again, that can be fine. So let's walk through. Forget we've coached. Jose's here.
Let's go.
And it's gonna be specific instruction to that 9 before we start.
Walk me through what you would coach again. Nobody knows anything. Zeros. Step one. What is step one?
Jose, post up on their 4, right?
When and why? Before that, when and why?
No pressure on the ball.
Okay.
Can have the ball. We're trying to create a disorganization between the 4 and the 5. That's what we're trying to create so that we can break this line.
What we want you to do is to engage both, so we can break this line and get the white player.
Let's figure out how to engage both of them so that we can open up the width. So that's the why. That's what we're trying to focus on here. Okay? So you're gonna come in, you're gonna post up, you're gonna bump up against Gary. And then you move across and
You show.
yeah, you're gonna show in, you're gonna call for the ball, and Celso will close. And I want you to keep as high as you can. Bailey will play you the ball.
At this time,
Yeah.
she will play.
Yeah, so that's like, we have like 5 different things we can do here, right?
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because we're not accounting for the 3 here. I'm just saying this.
Gotcha.
So this is a 4v2 scenario, just, right? So then you'll get the ball at the highest point possible, so playing the ball Bailey, high point, and then Bailey's gonna go this way, call for the ball back, and then play Mark through, right? And then you spin, and you go to goal. Now the question, do you see the disruption there, disorganization, Jose, or no?
Say that again?
Do you see the disorganization, disruption there, or no?
Yes, I do.
So Jose, based on what was just said, anytime Bailey gets the ball without pressure, what are you doing?
I'm gonna go sideways and bump one of the center backs,
Engage you.
and then try to engage him and the other center back by asking for the ball, doing whatever action. So I bump Celso and say, Bailey, ball! And they both, once they're disorganized, I'll play it back if she plays to me, so that we can go to the outside.
Okay. Whether you agree with how this plays out, I don't give a shit. Sorry, I don't. Because like Kapusi said, you could do this.
Yeah, there's a million different things. This is just a.
But in order for our teams to be the most successful, Bailey, Mark, Jose, and Mario have to be speaking the same language. So now they know. Bailey's got no pressure. Jose, in this moment, and what is this moment? Be super specific to what is this moment? That has no pressure. So it could be on the side of the 18, it could be the middle of the 18, it could be in midfield, based on what we've talked about right now. We know our 9 is going to do what? Try to attract both center backs. To disorganize them, to create space on the side.
Wouldn't it be a good idea to be so specific when the 10 has no pressure on the ball, facing your goal?
Even better.
Because I can see some of our players, even at the U19 Premier 1 level. All right, yeah, here I am. Jose, are you good to go, buddy? Woo! There we go.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. Okay. Are we thoughts on that? Questions?
That's for me, Michael, that's more clear because when the beginner they start showing the Kafuzi formation, I think he's trying to reach the more far the top of the diamond. Jose has a 90, more starts in the beta, right? He's trying to hit the top of the diamond here. When Jose check to Bailey, he's trying to hit here. I don't see the organization, the disorganization back
Because
there.
you were still organized.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt, and then Arturo. Matt.
Well, and the cue would, I think as a forward, I would like the cue to also be, you cannot turn. Because my inclination was always
Yes,
turn.
yes,
But then it
yes,
gets to the
right,
thing now
right.
where it's like,
But
I know you want,
Can't turn why?
the pressure's on your back.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you
Yeah,
pressure,
perfect.
you can turn, you play it back, so you can still keep the options going forward.
Love it.
So
That's
that way, because I know his inclination
great
was to turn.
addition. Big time addition because Jose may think,
Oh, I like to turn. I like to go.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because I love turning.
if you have pressure,
But there's so many dynamics, and then you go.
Well, and if you turn, it's 1v2, you haven't created anything or any numbers, and you can't get there.
To me, in a way, since the beginning, it was clear what they were trying to accomplish. By him bumping into the 4 and then coming in, playing the ball back, and then coming into the 5, in a way, he did attracted the 2 center backs, and then he became the highest point because creating space, moving off the ball, it doesn't necessarily have to be the one receiving the ball, but the ones around him.
Well, he could become the highest point, right?
He became the highest point when he attracted the 2 center backs. He played the ball wide, he was the highest, and then he just put the ball back.
Oh yeah, when he played that.
Since the beginning, like different
he became the highest
does
point,
so. Like doing that movement, he made the movement off the ball, playing the ball back, and then he
But also, as we're talking, it's also important to be specific with everybody. What's your job, Bailey? Mark, what's your job? Mario, what's your job? Mario, if he's the highest when the ball's here, you just want to sit here?
So that would now be the next step. We've talked Bailey's on the ball. We've talked Jose off the ball. But then we need to talk Jose's on the ball. What are Mark and Bailey doing? And let's just leave Mario out for a second because we want this side.
Yeah.
What are Bailey and Mario doing? Off the ball. Because Jose is now on the ball. And that's where Natalie makes a great point of, okay, this is 10, has no pressure, 9 has pressure. So they have to play the way they face.
You have to be specific about pressure on the back, right?
Which is fine. This is where we'll be general for a minute, so we don't get into more conversations. But pressure, now we're playing to a player again with no pressure. And now Mark is a player. But before we can even get to Mark, we've got to solve these two. Okay, we feel good about this. Now we coach on the ball, off the ball, off the ball. Is that making sense?
Absolutely.
But the activity's right, the coaching points are right. It's just be more
narrowly
honed in.
So that's why we coach in principles and not scenarios.
Yes.
Because I think that just proved that scenarios.
Yeah, try to get in. Absolutely.
So kids will just all of a sudden get to be like, oh, no pressure. And again, different parts of the field, you'll maybe teach different. Like this is middle of the field. It could be just very simple. She doesn't have pressure, and we're at the middle of the field. That 9 means we're trying to run without any pressure on the back. So whatever. That's just an example. Just make it so simple, and then they can judge and see the scenario and solve it based on pressure, no pressure, on the ball, all that stuff. Perfect.
One more group real quick. We'll keep 10 players. Next group, somebody step up. Good job.
Just do a warm-up for
I need a warm up.
You got 30 seconds to set up.
Okay, I need 2. Yeah, like orange, no, green. So you might get points. So in the goal. In the goal.
Can they go?
Yeah. So this line that Carson set up.
I'm going there.
Yeah, it will be probably closer to this or that. Okay, I need 3 blues and then 3 birds. And then I just need 3 shirts.
Guys, we got 2 minutes to take your picture and then we'll coach.
Yeah, and I need 3 shirts. 3 shirts. Come on.
Tanner, Fabio.
What was that?
Hop in there, Ben. Come on.
Ya se cansó.
Bailey?
Okay. Oh, you're in. Okay, well then, Flavio or Lindsay doesn't have to. Okay, our goal is we have our orange players, our attacking team. The objective is to hit our highest point forward. Okay. We have our 6 which is here. So if I am short, I'm attacking. My point is to get to Gary. I get a point when I get to Gary. Okay? So trying to, can I find a movement? Can I disorganize by moving my body, moving the ball, so we can find these gaps to find our high point?
No goals.
No goals. The goal of the point players, yeah.
Are we on all 13, like going to either to blue? Like they're neutral.
So in blue, so we're playing directional. So blue, if you win the ball, then we are trying to hit your point player directionally this way.
Just go straight up.
Yeah, you can just find the high point. If the black team directionally hits Gary, then Gary's going to pass to the blue team. Blue team's going to directionally go to their highest point in play. Do we understand?
Yeah.
Yes, yes? Okay. Okay. Here, where's my scheme of the marker?
Hey,
Ready?
Ken,
You guys ready to play?
Ken,
Yeah.
want to stay like on frame or can we go
Good
somewhere?
question. My point of the diamond, so if you're like helping as the 6 and you're helping as my 9, you can totally move. Let's see if we can move and help find the gaps. Yep. Everyone can move. Ready, steady, and play.
No roll.
Yep, go. Can we use Celso again?
Yeah, you can use Celso. Use your 6 to help. Yeah, Celso!
Oh, my bad, man.
If we find Gary, does he play the blue?
Yeah, I didn't know you want to go play the Gary.
Play the blue, Gary.
I really like Flavio there.
Yeah. I mean,
Mario. Natalie. Remote. No, don't score Natalie. You look good.
Where's down?
Sorry.
Good save.
It's really important to have good body shape off the ball, shoulder to ball, so we can see our objective, chest to field, strive to receive on the upfield foot. And as we're off the ball, we need to continually be moving into space to lose the defender.
Good play.
30 seconds, go.
You're running me off.
Find the light. All right. There we go.
So as we're connected with the players, we're playing 3 players in the middle. Like now, Celso's got the ball is the 6. Who's got the ball? Blue? Is it blue? Black.
And red.
So Flavio, I would create more space going out wide. Then showing one in the middle, maybe. Show in the middle, facing the player. And then once you get the ball here, you go. Who's the other one? You play as wide as you do. Play as wide as you can. But if I can't play, I play it back to him. Then I move to create a space, and maybe Flavio, you come into the middle and you go wide as well. Does that make sense? So there's got to be that communication between you 3 guys, and not just standing wide middle, but like movement off the ball and running away from the defender. Now, can Tanner get the ball from Mario there? What we do, Tanner, to get the ball to create a space for me? How can you create a space? For you? Okay, a couple ways. Okay, I got ball. How can you create space? Create space for me. How can you create space? Now we're moving the ball forward. What would you do? Yeah, what if I just run away from the defender? There's 2 types of ways to create space. 1, run away from the defender. And then how do you create space for me? Create space for me.
Oh, I thought you were me.
I'm you. So, Flavio, get close to Al. Billy's got the ball. Okay, come closer. Create a space for me and leave space to Bella so she can play the ball to you, and then you can connect to Gary. Go, play it. Go. Good. Stop, please. What is Flavio doing? he's running away from the one with the ball. And what is Tanner doing for me to create space? He's running away from the defender. So there's a couple ways to create space. Run away from the ball, run away from the one with the defender, connect, and once we connect, then we can also move again and not just standing one on each side, but always try to run away from the one with the ball and the defender to create space and move the ball forward so we can connect to the high spot.
Okay. Kenzie, Mark, Charles.
I'm a jerk.
Technique or tactic practice? Activity.
This makes more tactical.
Agree? Yep. Okay. If you say that, what is the tactic you're trying to get out? Which player are you talking to? Give me a position. Because right now,
We are 6.
okay, which player are you talking to? Because you spoke to, what are these guys, 10, 7s, 11s?
Yeah.
You tell me.
7s, 11s, 2s, 5.
Okay, so I've got 7 and 11. Based on that, when is this a 9 or a 10?
10.
When the 10 gets the ball, I want 7 and 11 to do what?
Get wide.
Wide and go high.
Right.
Okay, what else do you want?
Movement. Off the ball. Great.
Okay, hold on. Now, what's the movement that these guys are taking? What did you take away?
The person has no pressure. You can either run away.
Hold on. Did we say there was no pressure?
Nope.
Okay, so take that out.
The person has the ball. You can run away from the person with the ball or run away from the pressure, the defender.
Okay? So, Flavia, when are you doing that? Okay, perfect, great. What if Bailey has pressure? Go. Are you still going to run away? Hold on, based on what was coached.
Yeah, I'm still gonna run away.
Is that what you want?
I'm sick.
Yes or no? You guys tell me, yes or no?
You can drop to the 6. He can drop to the 6.
I agree, but that wasn't coached.
Okay, sorry.
Yes or no?
No, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Why?
No, because she can't turn easily. She's got pressure. She needs an easy pass.
Okay, so let's just stick with this scenario and coach it again. So go back to salsa. Step back. What is the first thing we want to coach?
Off the ball.
What kind of pressure?
Bailey to do what? We got 2 minutes. What do we want Bailey to do? And you hit on it. What was the first thing you coached, Mark?
Shoulder the ball.
I would literally move Bailey, biggest portion of the field. Perfect. Which is what you coached. Now what do we want?
Want her to receive the ball in that field, be able to see the objective and play it forward. if you
Okay,
can.
so make that simpler.
Receive and play forward.
Receive and face forward so we can place it. Perfect. So now Bailey has, our 10, has no pressure. She's facing forward. What do we want the 7-11 off the ball to do?
Explode in those.
Perfect. High and wide in open space. Okay, what is open? I'm going to be more specific. What is open space?
What is your?
Oh, hold on. Is this open space?
Yes.
That's serious.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so be more specific. What open space? What does that look like? Because I'll tell you right now,
Space between.
Coach, U14's highest level boys team probably in our club right now. Like, just age group wise. They will do this. And they'll go, oh, I'm offside, I need to come here. But who's also to say this isn't high and wide in space too? Be more specific. Break it down for 10. Yeah, anybody. Doesn't matter.
Do we want him to press that high line? Do we want him to press as high as their line of confrontation is?
Go. Great, Gary. Build off that. Tell Tanner what?
Tanner, I want you to push up to the even with the defensive line.
so that you can
So
still.
I can see the defensive line and know that I'm not offside.
Okay, so you're still on sides and
You're in space.
one more.
There's
Can
an
receive,
angle passing lane.
can receive the ball. A lot of times, maybe Mario's
The
here.
defender between.
Yeah, so this would be high and wide and still able to receive the ball. So Tanner's not just running around like a chicken with his head cut off. Is that making sense on specificness?
Yeah.
Kenzie, Mark, Arturo, Al, thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm being more specific of like, okay, on the ball and then off the ball, how it's looking. What is actually the high and wide versus just high and wide band up in the corner versus
Correct.
we want like
Yeah.
channel thing like hitting the boxes of what that actually means.
Awesome. Okay, let's grab all this stuff. We'll meet for 5 minutes in the corner so Jose can run the session. Will you guys grab the cones, balls, all that stuff, please? Water bottle. Thank you.
Water bottle. Congrats. You're like disposable water.
It's glass too.
Wow.
Yeah, Pug will stay.
Hey,
You can take those.
Okay.
They're mine, but I'll take them. It's Bailey's, just that one right there.
Work hard, boys. Or Jose will yell at you. Because Kyle will yell at Jose.
Oh, thank you. Alright, really quick. Talk to me, summarize what was learned, or intriguing, or a conversation or discussion point.
Between the ball?
Uh,
We need to be more specific.
We have to be more specific.
More detailed.
More specific. Why?
Well, because then you get confused, like, especially like you start getting confused and start coaching scenario. Well, what about this instead of the principal? Because we weren't.
Okay, so I want to go back to the last one. If I'm a player, and I see this with coaches, ourselves, all the time, we get pissed at our players because they do certain things in situations that we see and they don't. And part of it is because we told that player, when you have the ball, yeah, open up and run. Well, we didn't tell them when you don't have pressure. So now the player is going to turn into pressure. Look, check your shoulders. What are we doing? Like, we do that all the time. And part of it's just thinking and being in the moment. But that detail helps not just us, but our players be more clear in what we want from them, and also less confrontation is probably the right word with our players, and just more clarity for them. So I like that. What else?
Principle based, so you're not getting too, you can talk to them in generalities and they can make decisions and you don't get hung up on too many details.
Yeah, because Bailey in that first activity isn't going to receive the ball in that same spot every time. She probably will never receive it.
So
herself, defenders, and
quick question, and this is for everybody. So what can we do? What can we do to make sure that we are coaching principles and no moments?
I like that. Or situations.
Oh, situations.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
It's a great question.
Like what do we do, guys, to ensure that we are not coaching moments?
Okay.
Each activity or games, like what you want to win for games, and you check in with them so that you get them and you repeat them.
So let me ask this. 10 with no pressure versus a 6 with no pressure. Does it change?
Nice.
Principles versus scenarios.
Should.
Why?
Well, because if there's no pressure, you want the 10 to do the same as the 6 through the middle.
Same as the 9. Yeah.
They're still trying to find the highest.
They're still trying to find the highest point. So if I'm a center back and I receive it, I'm still trying to find, and we're still trying to move the same way so that we can all communicate. That's why Barca back in that, what was it, 06 to 10, 11, 12, whatever it was, they'd all played together for so long and they didn't have to verbally communicate, and they were all, okay, when this happens, this is what we're doing. And it was fast. That's why national teams are one of the hardest things to coach, because you've got all these different styles trying to come in, different principles coming in to play together.
Well, and principles are never changing, scenarios are changing all the time. That's perfect. That's the difference.
Great question. So I think that's awesome. Like the 10, the 6, the bottom of the diamond, their principles shouldn't change. The sides of the diamond, their principles shouldn't change. What changes, okay, there's pressure, I need to do this. There's no pressure, I need to do this. Thoughts? What else?
Even we had a younger age group to start with, right? We transitioned to an older age group. I don't think the detail changes from the younger kids to the older kids. I mean, 'cause we got the little kids out here, we're trying to get on their level and explain them what to do. Like you said, when we get to the 14s and we got a dude, hey, you got to play space, and he's standing on the corner flag. Like, it's the same detail orient that we still need to coach at all levels. That doesn't change.
Paint the picture.
Paint the
more
picture.
clear.
A lot of the times players get confused, very confused. When we teach them how to possess the ball, obviously to move it forward possession. But I've been finding a lot of the times they can move it forward in 2 or 3 touches or 2 or 3 passes, but they keep moving the ball square minus to possess instead of finding the highest point like right away. So I feel that I personally I need to emphasize that it doesn't matter if it takes you 2 to 3 touches to get the ball to the highest point to score, than to move it around, possess, and pass it 10, 20 times, and then you get it up. So the main idea is to get it high as quick as you can, and if it takes you 4 touches, even better.
If it takes 20 passes because it's not on there, fine. If it takes 1, fantastic.
You know why my players get confused? Because of me. That's what I'm there. 100%. Well, that's true. That's true. But I think this has helped me do a little bit of reflection to be like, hey, when I'm going, what am I saying to these guys?
So I think the last point I would make is try, and Barry brought it up, and I think that's a big point there. Once we get our coaching points down, they don't change. So it's not every session we're changing coaching points based on the principles. So once you sit down and actually write out your coaching points, you'll apply them at every single practice based on the pressure, no pressure, and who's on the ball. The last would be start at step 1. But we already were moving on to Jose before we talked about Bailey having no pressure. So I'm the 9 and I'm moving, and it's like, well, when am I moving? Why am I moving? What am I? So now, okay, it's like the outside, the 7-Eleven that we were asking to run. Well, do we want them to always just run? Because then they'll just take off. No, it's when Bailey, again, it was the same as Kafusi and Tim's, had no pressure. That's when we want them to go. That would be my biggest takeaway, is that helps create that, oh, this is the picture the coach is talking about. The 10's got it, they got space, this is what he wants me to do, what she wants me to do. Any other comments before we take off? Awesome, you guys are great, thank you very much, and have a good week.